You ever wonder why you crave certain foods? Could it be that you're lacking nutrients that are found in those foods? Or maybe you're just addicted to them? Or could it be your gut bacteria making you crave things that they want? Hello everybody, Dr. Brian Desvonic here. The article that I'm about to discuss was published on June 17th, 2020. And in this study, they found that gut bacteria can control the behaviors of their host, and they found the mechanism for that action. In the study, the hosts were little tiny worms known as Caenorhabditis elegans, or just C. elegans for short. C. elegans. I remember the hours and hours of painstakingly trying to separate hermaphrodite worms from male worms back in genetics class. Thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, they used these tiny 1 millimeter long worms as their test subjects because we know so much about these worms. We know about their genetics, and they eat bacteria. And in this study, they ate a lot of the bacteria called Providencia alcalifaciens, and not because they're the most tasty bacteria. In fact, C. elegans would prefer not to eat this species of bacteria simply because it produces certain alcohol metabolites that the worm generally tries to stay away from. But the Providencia bacteria has seemed to develop a trick to get their host, C. elegans, to eat them. When the worm eats this particular bacteria, many of the bacteria survive and end up colonizing the gut of the worms. The researchers noticed that the worms whose guts were colonized by Providencia no longer had an aversion to eating this bacteria. Instead, they feasted on this bacteria as if it was one of their normal foods, such as E. coli. They further demonstrated that the reason for this change in behavior has to do with an amino acid, tyramine, that the Providencia produces. So through a complicated process, the bacteria inside of the gut of the worm will produce tyramine, which affects the sensory organs, the olfactory, basically the sense of smell of the worm is affected by the tyramine that this bacteria produces in their gut. And ultimately that ended up making the worm more likely to eat more of the bacteria Providencia. And the whole thing kind of works out good for both organisms. The bacteria gets a safe place and transportation, while the worm gets some nutrients from the bacteria. It's an example of a relationship known as mutualism, and if you don't understand what that means, I made another video about that topic that you can check out. I put the link down below in the description. In conclusion, do note that this is just a worm study. This is not a human study, so we really can't extrapolate too much of this information into a human setting. But I have often wondered if some of our behaviors, if some of our food cravings are caused by our gut microbiomes. This study brings us one step closer to unraveling the mysteries of the microbiome. If you like the video and you like hearing new research about the microbiome, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and click the bell so that you don't miss out on my future videos. I thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.